Hi. This is a tutorial video that some people have requested. The reason I hadn't really done this before is A, I suck at explaining things, and B, I don't really have like a concrete rendering style-ish. So basically, I kind of just like whipped up this style of thingamajig. You can see I did it with Amy, and it has like actual steps to it that I think make sense, and I can explain how and why I do things. We have Mr. Tenor as our bass today. I'm just gonna be going like through the motions and stuff of what I do and why I do it. Okay, so we're back in this little like Amy artwork. Here she is in the main glory, and here's like all my notes that I put in. So you can see that there are like 4 major, I guess, checkpoints, and then you have all of the in-betweens and stuff. So yeah, this looks like a bunch of gibberish, but don't worry. I'll try and explain it to the best of my ability. Okay. I low-key just realized that I forgot to do the little like outline glow that I sometimes do, and I think I want to do it with this one. What are we feeling? Should be the color. I'd say an orange would be nice actually, I think. Make him look all like golden. So basically, you just duplicate your liner layer, clip mask, do whatever color you want. Go over here to Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur can never do you wrong. It's so freaking goated. There's not much on the stool. If it doesn't really show through, that's fine. Just duplicate the layer and repeat the process. I think I did too much. So just go back real fast. Almost. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. So, this is your base. It's like nothing's really happened except you put in base colors, and you have your Gaussian blur line art enhancer, or whatever you want to call it. So, we'll go to step 1, which I call new base, and essentially you give kind of like texture to your current base, which I usually use the tessellated brush. Really, you can use any color you like. I usually, for this new base, I usually use the color that I'm going to use for the shading. So, for this, I'm just going to keep it simple and do... I kind of want his red suit to really pop off. I might do complementary colors for red. So, yellow, bright light, and maybe I could do like a green-ish kind of shadow. I don't know, we're just messing around really. Now, I don't know for this instance if I'm gonna make the textile to shadow color. I might keep it orange, like with the Gaussian blur liner layer. I think they look nice, but you know. Hello, I'm back, and this is, I think, as good as it's gonna get. Usually, I use overlay for this, but I decided to go with multiply, because, as you can see, it doesn't really give texture to the suit, or more so the red parts of his design, which I find interesting, so I think I'm gonna go with that. And also, I put this layer above here, because usually when you put everything together like this, the values kind of like mold together, if that kind of makes sense. I remember seeing a video on Instagram about putting your like base colors above any other layers that use the same color. For example, like shading. If you were just to put like a just keep the shaded multiply layer, if you're just to keep that, then your values wouldn't really stand out. By putting a saturation layer above it, there's more distance between each, I want to say, like, color, I guess, because with here they're both orange, but with this, that's more of like a white orange, I guess. And then this is more orange because it's against yellow and this is against white. Hopefully that makes sense. It creates distance while still giving you the desired color. Okay, now we're gonna do part freaking 2, which is shading. So I actually already went in and put the basic layers down. I went with the green color and it doesn't look too bad. Pretty sure it's like a warm, kind of like desaturated green, without all the like effects and everything. It's just this green. So it's pretty freaking sweet, dude. With the like values standing out and everything looks pretty close together once you put this over it. It's all fine and dandy. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's quite simple. Really, you just have to have like a decent understanding of planes and 3D objects and everything. For the lighting, I think it's like the light source is probably like right there, so it kind of and even reaches down there. But yeah, next we'll be going over like darker shadows and midtones. Remember to obviously have the shadow layer as multiply and this top layer as either add or saturation. It really is like whatever you want, whatever you think looks best. And yeah. Alright, step 2 is almost done. I put in the midtones and darker shadows and together. Essentially darker shadows is still a multiplier layer, it's just obviously a darker, more desaturated version of your previous shadow color, which is warm green. So I just did a darker, I think cooler warm green actually. And then actually with midtones, they act sort of as like an absorbent shadow, if that kind of makes sense. So they would have more saturation due to the fact that they're like closest to the light source. So that means that the midtones, you'd have to pick your basic shadow color and then move it closer to your light source, which mine would probably be like around here. So red would be pretty close, and then you'd end up with something like that. Don't make it too bright though, because again, it is still technically a shading element instead of a light element, but just so there's like difference between your midtones and like complete shadows, quote unquote. And for the dark shadows, I use the classic library soft blend, and for midtones I use the Huntsman pencil. The midtones would just be on a normal layer, like you just do that by hand or not, I don't know, but I prefer it by hand. And then the shadow layers are both on multiply, and that is, I think, it in part 2. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna put steps 3 and 4 together because it's a pretty simple process. Step 3 is lighting and rim light, essentially. So with lighting, obviously, I have yellow, as you can see here. I think it's less saturated, but yeah, I think it's this. This is the yellow I used, with obviously add turned on. So it's like, it looks like that. And then rim light, I usually just make that white, as you can see, with like no effects. Doesn't really need it. But turn the opacity down, so it doesn't bring too much attention away from like the main point, which is his shoulder up here. That's pretty much lighting. And then we have finishing touches, which is like a bit of texturing with the flicks brush. And then we have my watermark. And yep, that's how you render in this style. And it's like the final stage, which is finishing touches. I do sometimes paint over the line art, but I don't really think that's necessary. So he looks pretty good. Just remember that when you are doing like all of this, remember to have that add layer on the top of everything. Speaking of, move that down. Okay, yeah, make sure that's on top of everything so that you don't lose that pattern. So it's like, still comes through and everything. And yeah.